We respectfully request the Sangha of great virtues for the sake of this assembly and all living beings. Please turn the wonderful Dharma wheel to teach and guide us how to end birth and death, leave suffering and attain bliss, and quickly realize non-birth. Cung thính đại đức tặng thính, vì thứ pháp hội cập nhật thiết chúng sanh, tịnh chuyên diệu pháp luân giao đạo ngã mùng, như há liêu sanh thoát tư ly khổ đạc lạc, tất chứng vô sanh. Homage to the Blessed, Noble, and Perfectly Enlightened One. Nam mô Sa Đan Thọ Sư Chế Đô Yê Ở La Hờ Đi Sàn Miao San Pu Tô Xế. Nam mô Tát Đắc Tha Tô Ya Đa Ya La Hà Đề Tam Miệu Tam Bồ Đà Toa. The unsurpassed, profound, subtle, and wonderful Dharma in 100,000 million aeons is difficult to encounter. Now that I am able to see and hear, I will receive and maintain it. I vow to fathom the thus come one's true and actual principles. Wu shang sheng sheng wei miao fa bai jian wan jie nan zao yu, wo jin jian wen de shou chi, yuan jie ru lai chen shi yi. O Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, Great Master Ching Liang, Great Master YongHua, all good monks and nuns, and all good known advisors, Emitofuo. 诸佛菩萨、精良大士、师父上人、各位出家人、各位善知识, Emitofuo. Chư Phật Bồ Tát, kính thưa Thanh Lương Đại sư Hòa thượng Thiên Hóa, quý thầy cô và quý vị thiện tri thức A Di Đà Phật. Hello everyone, today is the 8th of December 2023. We're here at Way Mountain Temple to continue discussing the prologue to the Avatamsaka Sutra as written by Master Ching Liang and explained by Master YongHua. We come to a rather special section that is a real treat to be able to share with you. And for that, you have to be grateful to so many of you who tough it out during this prologue. It's a quite theoretical, quite advanced, and I didn't know that would be able to go this far. I was prepared to go back to the sutra in 42 sections. The first sutra we explained to make it easier for you. Take a break from all this complex theoretical stuff. Okay, but I'm grateful that you all toughed it out and hung in there. And now we get to the point where we can see the depth of Master YongHua's teachings is incredible. This is, unless we explain this, unless he explained it, there's no way that for the scholars or most monks would be able to understand. Okay, so this is very important for us as well. So it's a real treat. Thank you all for this opportunity. Okay, 674. That is because the doctrine of the connective teaching fuses the three, because the separate teaching relies on one Dharma nature to reveal the three.
Sangu.
Can we do it again?
"通教亦容三故，别教一依法性，而显三故。"
Okay. Commentary. So he towards the end section of discussing the Dharma masters who advocated classifying the Buddha's teachings into 4 types of teachings: 3 stores, connective teaching, separate teaching, and perfect teaching. Among those advocate Dharma masters was a very famous one, great master Chuta of the Tiantai school. That's and so it's he says thank you. According to this, according to Master Qingyang, he says that doctrine of the connective teaching fuses the 3. So basically, he's saying that first we have a 3-store or Agama teaching or Hinayana teaching, and then you have the advanced teachings called separate and perfect teaching. That's for a much higher level audience, much greater potential. And between the 2 is something called connective teaching. So the doctrine of the connective teaching fuses the 3, refers to the fact that it fuses the Hinayana teaching with the separate and perfect teaching of the Bodhisattvas. This is Hinayana, this is Great Mahayana, this is Arhats, this is Bodhisattvas and Buddhas. So connective teaching is the bridge, if you will. Okay? Well, let's not get too carried away by the scholarly thing here. You can decide for your own when it's time for you to want to elaborate these concepts in greater details. It's not our purpose here. We're not adopting a scholarly approach. Okay, 676. Because the separate teaching relies on one Dharma nature. Okay, and this is interesting. This slide here is the text from Master YongHua's teachings, the translation to English. He says, "It's one Dharma nature refers to the Buddha nature, which we all have." Okay. We all equally have this Buddha nature, okay? Everyone. And all living beings have this Buddha nature, but particularly for us, because we're here to cultivate the Buddha Dharma, to become enlightened, to open our wisdom, make better lives for ourselves. So our Buddha nature that we have, okay, which is replete with all Dharmas, it has everything. In the Buddha nature, everything is contained in the Buddha nature, and it's free. In particular, not is it only is it has everything, it's free from errors that arise from the 5 desires. Okay, when you have the desires, this is the concepts are very interesting. When you have the 5 desires, okay, errors, mistakes, and karmas will arise from these 5 desires. Okay? It's because you're not dwelling on your Buddha nature. When you are disconnected from the Buddha nature, as soon as you have the 5 desires for sight, sound, smell, taste through your sense organs, you are creating karmas. Is that clear? And furthermore, Buddhas know that, and therefore they taught us that now we're stuck, now we're confused. Therefore, the only way out for us is to hold precepts and practice paramitas in order, hold precept, practice paramita, in order to attain enlightenment. And Master Hsuan, to achieve Buddhahood, I don't go that far. Okay? Yes, it's true, but the first step is to attain enlightenment. Holding precepts and practicing the paramita of holding the precepts will help you attain enlightenment. Our Chan practice here is based upon this paramita of holding precepts. So when you boys and girls in the future feel like you want to be your own Dharma master and so forth, unlike my peers under Master YongHua, I would urge you, okay, to go to Taiwan and learn at least sometimes, spend some time learning about precepts, because that's the foundation of Chan. If you want to say, I declare yourself to be a Dharma master and so forth, certainly if you want to be a patriarch, you should know more about precepts. And that's something that if you want to make a career, you have the ambition of pushing the envelopes of Mahayana, you have to understand precepts. You don't, you cannot really teach. Because, why? Because we have to help our followers with the errors that arise from their 5 desires. This is how profound his teaching is. It's amazing. This is a gift for our generation. And it went unnoticed. They didn't get it. That's why they never went. They never took learning about precepts seriously. They only followed the narrow pathway that Master YongHua created for us to get there. But in order to call yourself a patriarch or a great Dharma master, you have to understand precepts. If you want to help people reach enlightenment. This is how profound this small section is. And that's why it went unnoticed. Master YongHua explained it already. And I know that you people in Korea, in China, in Vietnam, in wherever, don't understand this. That's why the foundation of Buddhism, of Hinayana or Mahayana, gets weaker and weaker. If your foundation is wobbly, you cannot build very high at all. Okay? All right. Yes, JMT.
네, 카톡에 올라온 입계 김용학님 질문입니다. 아미타불 마스터 인터넷 사이트에서 포르노 영상을 보았습니다. 아마 그 사이트는 주인의 허가를 받지 않은 영상을 불법으로 모아두었을 겁니다. 원래라면 그러한 영상들을 보기 위해 적어도 5원 이상의 돈이 필요할 것입니다. 제가 불투도 개를 받았는데 돈을 내지 않고 영상을 보았기 때문에 이 일을 참여할 수 없습니까? 참여할 수 없다면 제가 어떻게 해야 합니까?
Master, I saw some porno video in the internet site. Maybe that site collected illegally the videos. So to watch those videos, I need pay 5 won. But I received the no stealing precept, but I didn't pay and I saw the video. So how can I repent it?
What? You watched pirated videos?
Yeah, illegally saw video.
Okay.
It's a porno video.
A what video?
Porno.
Corno? What's corno?
Porno.
Kono. This is Japanese thing. I'm sorry. Could you spell it for me?
Porn video.
Poor video? Poor video now? I'm training you not to be flustered because when you sit up here, people can do things to you to fluster you, get you flustered. So again, what is a Kono video?
P-O-R-N.
P-O-R-A, Poro video. Oh, doesn't ring a bell. Anyone would like to help her out? Don't you dare. Yeah? 5.
Thank you, Master.
Leader to the rescue, of course. Yeah.
I'm very intrigued about the prawn video.
The prawn video.
I've never seen a pirated shrimp video before.
Okay, the prawn video. Oh, that's a new nickname for it. Okay, so he watched from prawn video. And now what is the problem? What's the big deal again?
Legally, saw the video without paying money. And he received the no stealing precept, and he want to repent.
He received the stealing precept. Okay. Okay, so he wants to repent. Oh my God. How much is the charge to watch?
5 won.
Oh my God. Then you broke the precepts. Okay. He broke the precepts by 51 cents. Yes. The precepts were written like a long time ago. And I don't mind telling you, I'm not supposed to tell you, I don't mind telling you because tonight I am in a good mood. Learning about prawn videos. Huh?
So, Master, this person said the prawn video cost like less than $1 to watch it.
Oh, 5 crowns. 5 what?
Like less than
5 won.
$1.
I see, less than $1. Okay, so each time he watched it, he stole less than $1. It's okay, big deal, no big deal. Repent. Don't do no more prawn videos. Yes, sir, in the back. Huh?
Master, I am equally as guilty. However, I would suggest that there's something free online. If it doesn't cost money.
Okay. We're going to restrict this to only 2, okay? The rest of you guys, hold your horses. So how much did it cost a young man for these prawn videos? Remember, we are a PG-13 audience here.
Master is free from a lot of websites.
Come again?
It is free.
It's free?
Yes.
It's no violation still.
What?
So what is what do you feel guilty about again? Remember, it's PG-13.
Master, sometimes that they have it and then they share it online free for everybody. Does it count as a private pirating or?
Okay. Okay, it's too complicated for me. Yeah, Bo-kyung, she's also into prawn videos.
네, 마스터 제가 해석하기로는 카톡에 올라온 이 글이 포르노 비디오를 다운받았다는 말이 아니라 아까 저기서 말씀하신 것처럼 무료로 나눠주는 사이트이긴 한데 거기에 들어가는 그 영화나 드라마들이 전부 다 요즘은 돈을 주고 보는 그런 프로그램들이 많거든요. 근데 그거를 다운받아서 봤다는 얘기를 해서 불투도를 자기가 지키지 못한 거라고 생각을 하는 것 같습니다.
Master, I read this Katok message, and then my interpretation is that it's a free site, but these days we have so many programs that we need to pay and watch. So he think that he made offenses in not keeping the no stealing precept.
I see. Well, I'm glad that you understand how to access these sites properly. Very good. Okay. So anyway, it's I don't mind revealing to you. Okay, for those of you, you learn it already. If you steal anything, the rule that the Buddha made a long time ago is $5. If you steal anything less than $5, it's a slap on the wrist. Okay, anything more than $5, it's pretty serious. So be careful. Okay, stop at $5. Anyone needs more clarifications? Thank you. Yes, Colombia. Nine.
Thank you, Master. When I was listening to the precepts audio that the Venerables gave to us when we were taking the refuge, you said that it's, for example, for people here in the U.S., it's $5, but for people outside of the U.S., it depends on the current...
The currency conversion, yes, it goes up and down a little bit. Okay, but think about it, $5, especially 2023, $5 cannot even buy you French fries here in the U.S. It's so sad. I mean, that should be inflation adjusted. 2,000 for 2,000 years. Never mind. There's serious business. Thank you. Okay, 677. Yes, 7.
Sorry, Master, changing subject. I have two
please,
questions.
yeah.
I have two questions. First question is from Kyungmin. She's sitting right there in the back. She has a medical condition and she has a concern starting with her fasting. So let me start with her background information. She's born with the missing air sacs, which is alveoli is missing.
What?
So air sac. In the lung, there's a lot of air bags. One of those bags are missing.
Okay.
So that causes decreasing her lung capacity. And about 10 years ago, there was an incident that air bag in her left lung got ruptured due to extreme stress. So they have to treat it with that condition. And she says they saw that air bags back to normal, but still she has a problem. So after starting the fasting, she started to feel the pain. It's more like a stinging pain on her left lower lung where that she had a surgery before. It feels heavy and then feel constricted. Whenever she breathes the cold air, her lung hurts more. So she wants to ask you if her condition is safe to continue further cultivations or fasting.
How many more days?
I'm sorry?
How many more days she has to go? Two more?
2 more days.
2 more days, okay. It's the pain. She's not just the pain, right?
Pain, and also she feels her lung is constricted and then also feel heavy.
Okay. Try another day and see what happens. We don't know, okay? But I feel it should be okay, but let's be conservative. Do 1 more day and talk to us again tomorrow. You only half a day left, right? Till tomorrow. 12 hours, 13 hours. Yeah.
So she has a 24 hours left, 1 more day.
Okay. Do 1 more day and see what happens. Okay?
And have another question from her. She says once a week her family get together with her sons, and they have a beer. Get together, have a beer, and then she received a precept for not drinking. And is that permitted? Is it okay?
Preferably, you should not drink beer. You should not drink at all. Okay. It's if you do chant, actually, when you develop samadhi power, your body naturally rejects alcohol. You don't like to drink beer anymore. Happens to a lot of us. Okay. And so it's naturally you will not like to drink beer anymore, okay, or drink alcohol anymore. It's just the body rejects it, okay, naturally. And so since that's the case, you might as well learn to do without. I'm sure it's not a big deal for them. I imagine that your family members, when they start drinking beer, they can't care less if you drink or not. They're more worried about their drinking more. Okay? So I would abstain. It's not a big deal. Except unless you drink, unless it's some imported beer, then it's Korean beer. What kind of beer is it? We always have exceptions.
So the reason why she's drinking with her family is not really for herself, just to get along with the family, because it's like an event. Once a week they get together and drink beer.
Yeah. Yeah, if you're the mother or you're the daughter?
She's mother.
Big mother or small mother?
Mother, and she's grandma also.
Then you can do anything you want. Okay? You're grandma already. Grandma gets what she wants. But if you feel like drinking, it's okay too. Okay? It's not a big deal. Okay? The drinking precepts is primarily designed to help you avoid getting drunk. I'm going to say this, I'm going to get in trouble with all my peers. They said, this guy now advocates drinking. Okay, the main thing about that precept is that when you do it excessively, you will lose your clarity of mind, and then you can no longer protect the other, you will violate the other 4 precepts. That's why. It's a preventative precept. It's not a life and death thing. Okay? So if you violate the other 4, it's a life and death thing. You see? So that's why you have a certain degree of latitude here. You have some latitude in holding this precept. There's nothing that's really unrepentable in that precept. That's why. Okay, so I'm for a natural observation of precepts. Okay? But you start first with abstaining, because it helps you. And once you understand, then it's not really a big deal. Okay, anyone else? All right, 677, to reveal the 3. So the separate teaching here is the teaching of the Bodhisattvas, the teaching that will help you become enlightened. This is very, very important teaching. Is used in order to reveal the 3. The 3 here, Master Shewa explained, the 3 could be the other 3 types of teachings, but actually I feel it's about precept, samadhi, and wisdom. Okay? All right. 678. And because in the perfect teaching, the 3 and the 1 are non-obstructive.
原教3一无障碍故。
679. And so the main point here is that the Buddha taught the Buddha Dharma depending on the audience. So when you have an audience of bodhisattvas, people who have great potential, then he would bestow the perfect teaching, okay? Or on the other hand, people like us who are not accomplished cultivators yet, we listen to the perfect teaching, we study the perfect teaching in order to plant the seeds to become recipients of the perfect teaching in the future, okay? And future Buddhas. And so in the perfect teaching, that ultimate teaching in Buddhism there, ultimate wisdom Buddhism, there's a perfect fusion. There's no more obstructions. 1 is 3, 3 is 1. 1 is all is 1. Okay? Okay, so understand that the sequence here. First, you have to discriminate because you're confused. If you say, if ultimately there's no discrimination, everything is perfectly fused, intermingled, then what's a big deal? That's only for the people with high-level wisdom with great potential. That's why, and that's the teaching for them. But for us, as long as we down here, we need to separate the good from the bad before you can have the wisdom to discern, okay? And to be able to no longer discriminate. All right? 680. The reason it is not called a small vehicle teaching is that the teachings also has a great vehicle, and for the Bodhisattva and the 6 paramitas have cut off and ended the 34 minds and become true Buddhas.
所以不明小圣教者，此教亦有大圣6度菩萨，34心断结，成真佛故。
Okay, 681. It's called, not called the small vehicle teaching because the 3 stores teaching also has a great vehicle for the bodhisattvas of the 6 paramitas. See here the technical side of it, and it's fantastic. 682. We have 50 minutes. Let's see how far we can go along. Okay. Now, this is kind of cool because this is where the Master Shenhua, what Master Shenhua did for us in the West, for our generations, is incredible. My generation is incredible. Okay. And unfortunately, we didn't get much of it. So I hope your generation will be much better off than we are. Okay. So what he's talking about is here. He elaborates on what Master Shenhua did was, as a patriarch, he taught us, he gave us instructions on how to cultivate. Okay, and here in this section here, he elaborates the theory behind it. That what the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas taught already. Okay, they taught the theory, explained the theory already, and what Master Shenhua did as a patriarch, a true patriarch, was to translate that into instructions, specific steps for us to do. You understand the 2 things? One is theory, one is how to get there. The theory describes the states only, but the patriarchs have to translate that into specific steps. That's what Chan is about. Specific steps, what to do in order for you to experience those states. And he has great mastery in doing that. And this section here is the evidence of the fact that a truly great patriarchs give you instructions that will help you verify, okay, certify to what the theory, the Buddhist theory is about. That's how important it is. There's no way that you can expect the non-Buddhists to be able to appreciate this. It's only for the most privileged. So it's a tremendous gift for us, okay? Which we otherwise would not be able to have. And so he says, they start explaining 34 minds, okay? There are 8 patiences, 8 wisdoms, okay, that add up to 16 minds. And then there are 9 ways of non-intermittence. Don't worry, just listen to it. We'll elaborate it for you. And so why we're learning about why these are names like this. The 9 ways of non-intermittence, also ways of non-obstruction. They are first translated as non-intermittent, but later they prefer the terms non-obstructions. So there are 9 ways of non-intermittent, non-obstruction, and then there are 9 liberations. So you have 18 minds plus 16. That's 34 minds. So far, so good. All right. So Master Jing Liang, you see how scholarly and how knowledgeable he is. His wisdom is incredible. Okay, he bridges the two. He all understands how to cultivate it, and now he's explaining, the theory behind it. The Master Shenhua now bridges the gap for us. All right. So this is so cool what Master Shenhua did. And let me confess to you, when I read it once a long, long time ago, 30 years ago, it went over my head. Okay. You have no clues. Here's how they work, Master Shenhua says. Okay? Any questions? the basis, the starting point for Buddhist practice, Buddhist cultivation, is the Four Truths. What the Buddha taught. You want to understand the fundamental Buddhist wisdom teachings is the Four Truths. Okay, and so your acquisition of wisdom requires you to learn about the Four Truths and then commit to cutting off delusions. That's how you develop wisdom. So far, so good. And here's the key. In order to develop wisdom, you must be patient. It's not talking about money, not talking about smarts, talking about you have to be patient. That's a requirement for unfolding your wisdom. Yes, sir. 9 in the back.
Thank you, Master. I just have a question. Because before the 4G started, I get some obstruction already. On my way down from dialysis, I get a seizure while driving and I get into an accident. Now my driver license is suspended. What should I do at this point? Should I meditate more?
I'm very sorry you have some problems there. Don't drive anymore first. Okay? And what do? I don't know what's your goal. It's not clear to me why you're doing this.
Well, I get a seizure out of the blue. I don't know. It's just the first time it happened.
Yeah, it's called aging and sickness. It's it's part of the Four Noble Truths. Suffering.
So can I meditate more and try to get back the license?
Can you meditate more to get your driver's license back? It's two separate things. Meditation is spiritual. Driver's license is governmental. So you have to talk to them, talk to your doctor and talk to regulators. And what are the requirements for you to get your driver's license back? It's temporarily suspended. So I imagine they have some conditions for you to meet before they will give it back to you. Okay? It's governmental regulations. I have no clues. You have to ask them. Okay? Sorry, I can't help. All right. Could be worse. Could have been a very serious accident. You might not be able to even to speak right now or walk right now. All right, and so the premise of the training, see, here's the premise of training. Therefore, in order for us to help you unfold your wisdom, we have to teach you patience. Patience means you must endure what you don't like. If your path is such that it's very pleasant, you have like the monks in Taiwan, they have their own room, and then they have their own bathroom, and then they can do anything they want. They can only have to work 2 hours a day for the temple, and then they have money every month for food, for clothing, for pocket money. Food is taken care of. It's no suffering. Same thing in Korea nowadays, yes? Young Koreans are told life as a nun, as a monk is very desirable. You don't have to go to work, and so forth. If you promote that kind of cultivation, there's no wisdom development. It's so important to point it out, okay? Yeah, it's not for everyone. If monks and people want to become nun, aspiring, looking for being comfortable and taken care of, yeah, there's such a thing. But it's not, that kind of lifestyle is not conducive to helping you open your wisdom, helping you become enlightened. Be clear about what you're choosing. Okay? And so, patience. So that's why in the Chan training here, we train you. Chan claims to help you open your wisdom. Therefore, it's a set of training methodologies or procedures that help you develop your patience. It's the coolest thing, specifically designed to help you develop patience. Starts us with crossing your legs. Okay? All right, continuing, 684. So example, when ignorance or thoughts of desires come along, you have to be patient in the face of them. That's called the patience with dharmas of suffering. Meaning that when it's unpleasant, you have to endure it. Don't blame others. If you blame others, you will have no wisdom. But if you quietly endure it, bite your lips and take it as a woman, as a man, sorry, sometimes I forget. Then you're on the way to developing your wisdom. Okay? Bear what cannot bear. I don't know why the translation has think of them as pleasure but not bitterness and so forth. Okay? Bear what cannot bear. Why not even think of it as pleasure? Okay? It's not necessary. I don't want you to even go there. It's pleasant, it's pleasurable. This is what Thich Nhat Hanh is teaching. This is what all the other people are teaching, including Master YongHua disciples nowadays. Bear what cannot be borne. That's Master YongHua's teaching. Endure it. Keep enduring it. More and more and more. That's how you build up your patience. That's how, and along with it, your wisdom develops. It is their direct relationship, correlation between becoming more patient and becoming wiser. A direct relationship in our world. I'm not talking about what's out there, how they train patience, how the Navy SEALs train their soldiers to endure more and become patient. It's not a patient, it's training for wisdom. But in our environment, in our Mahayana training, in the Sangha training, okay, in the Chan training, it's about teaching you to endure what you cannot endure. Don't run away. Don't complain. Embrace it. pure Chan training in our tradition. Bite your lips. Don't say anything. Don't call your mom. Just endure. Again, I caution you, only in our environment, under supervision. It's not, this is transcendental training, not like worldly training. It's different, totally different. Similar principles, but similar technology, but it's different principles altogether. All right? Okay. Master YongHua says, okay, I see, must need and pleasure with bitterness and so forth. No need. Okay, I would drop that. When fire of desire scorches as ferocious, but hold on, don't go running after such thoughts. Okay? He even details it for you. When you have thoughts and desires, okay, and they are scorching you, making it very untenable, very difficult for you, okay? Hold on. Don't indulge. Okay? Then wisdom will arise. And then you basically say, oh, basically there's nothing to it. That's called false thinking. Master YongHua is that detailed. And that's called, and that wisdom there is called wisdom concerning dharmas of suffering. All the things that make you suffer, in other words, it's called wisdom concerning dharma of suffering, because every single thing that we tell you to do, we ask you to do, that makes you suffer, okay, will help you develop wisdom. Okay, and you have to learn to patiently endure it. And that's what you've been doing. And you kept coming back for more suffering. Yeah? So far, so good? Okay. 685. So that we're talking about 8 wisdoms, right? So we just mentioned first wisdom is wisdom concerning dharmas of suffering. Okay. Next is the patience with dharmas of accumulation. They don't do a good job. Unfortunately, the Chinese explanation of accumulation is not that good. It bothered me for a long, long time. I have suffering already, and accumulation sounds like just suffering. Yes, sir, 5.
Thank you, Master. We have a YouTube question regarding the previous slide.
Yeah.
But first, I'd like to express my sincere gratitude to all of the Sanghins and lay people supporting tonight's YouTube broadcast. A tremendous amount of effort goes in every day to make these live streams possible, and I'm very thankful for all of the people collaborating. We have a question from Sarah. Sarah asks, Master, what do you mean by dropping the sentence, must not think them as pleasure but bitterness?
He's referring to that when you have desire to smoke, for example, because she said, why would I love to have a cigarette? Okay, because that will give me a lot of pleasure to be able to smoke. That's pleasure. But he says, it's really not pleasure. Actually, it's suffering. It's bitterness. That's all. And it's confusing because it's not necessary. Okay, because it introduces the concept of pleasure and bitterness. This is why sharp people like Sarah said, oh, it's confusing to me. That's why I would avoid it. I would not introduce this concept yet. Because for you Westerners, you would react to it. Yes, sir. South Colombia.
Thank you, Master. I remember not long ago we spoke about that, and you said that it's because we are just like replacing it. Instead of dropping it off, we're just like replacing it with a different mark or characteristic.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't matter. We talked about it. Ultimately, if you endure long enough, what's difficult to endure, then you realize that it's nothing. Okay, this is so cool. If you keep enduring it, and one day you wake up and say, oh, all gone. What bothers you disappears. What really has been bothering you so much, poof, it's empty. But if you keep on complaining and indulging yourself, okay, it will never go away. Actually, it will accumulate. Accumulation refers to, this is where Buddha's wisdom is incredible. Suffering is suffering, right? I mean, we don't like it, okay? But suffering has multi-dimensions. That's what Buddha calls accumulation. Because if you indulge in this suffering, okay? If you indulge, that's called suffering, okay? But that, along with that, comes accumulation, meaning you build it up and you add more peripheral suffering as well. For example, you buy a new car. Anyone? Huh? You buy a new car. It's a suffering, yes? Because you lost a lot of money, you spend a lot of money. To me, it's a lot of suffering. You only see the car. I only see, how are we going to pay for this? Okay, that's suffering. But with that, okay, with suffering, there's accumulation. Because with that suffering of the car, now you have a suffering of what? Maintenance, insurance, someone dinging your car at Walmart. That's why I go shopping nowadays. Can you believe the prices of groceries nowadays? Oh, never mind. He doesn't drive anymore, he doesn't care. Yeah. Okay, you see, that's called accumulation because it accrues in so many dimensions. So one suffering multiplies, multi-dimensions. That's how scary it is. Okay, so I use example like magnets, drawing those small metal things from all over. It's incredible that one suffering you have, it's like a magnet. It's everywhere. Okay? Don't get depressed. It's just life. You don't say, oh, I don't want to live. It will help you open your wisdom. Got it? As soon as you realize it's suffering, there's a way to counter it, to help you develop wisdom, which is what? Endure more. Don't be such a pussy, as the saying goes. Okay. And then next, so you have next is a wisdom concerning dharmas of accumulation. Huh? Next, the third wisdom is patience with dharma, the extinction. Okay, and so Master Hsuan explained it as dharma must be renounced, non-dharma must be renounced even more, and if you do that, then you're pretty close to wisdom. There's no knowing, no attaining. And that's extinction. That's a state of wisdom. Okay? And so this is the assurance for you. Okay? The things you're taught, the things you're trained to do, the things you're asked to do will bring you this. This is the prize. This is the big prize. Okay? It's not heavens. It's not happiness. It's extinction of all suffering. The absence of suffering. Total absence of suffering. It's the coolest thing. It's no more suffering. No more accumulation. None. See that? That's a way out. Anything less, you still have suffering, accumulation. See that? So this behind this madness, this difficult thing you're doing, there's an end result where you are free of all suffering. That is called extinction. Because you're free of suffering, it's incredibly nice. Yes, question in the back. No question? Okay. I don't necessarily like the way that they explain the scholarly here, no knowing, no attaining, as refers to the Prajna teaching and so forth. It encourages scholarly discussion and debates. I don't care for it. Okay? Because I'm talking about what you have experienced already. You did it without having to worry about justifying it or rationalizing it. Okay? It's about doing it. Then you get there, a state of extinction where it is so nice. There's nothing like it. Yes, 5.
Thank you, Master. I appreciate you saying, as you started explaining this section, that when you first read it, however many years ago, that it kind of went over your head. That makes me feel safer asking this. I'm just reading the slide behind you, and it says, even dharmas must be renounced. You even have to put the dharma down. Mm-hmm. I'm not trying to have a scholarly understanding of that, but just on the surface, it sounds like, as a Buddhist, I took refuge in the Triple Jewel, and the Dharma is part of that. Mm-hmm. Is it saying to put what I took refuge in down and drop it?
Precisely why I didn't want to go into this. See, you asked questions already. Morality just walked in and said, huh? He's about to raise his hand too. You see the problem? we're approaching it, explaining it like this, okay, it creates a platform for debates. And that's fine, okay? But it's so easy to go off on a tangent if you start debating this. Dharmas, non-dharmas, not knowing, no attaining, so forth, is not meant for you to debate. It's a state where, like we talked about earlier last night maybe, that you are brought there and say, that's not knowing. That's not attaining. That's not a Dharma, I renounce the Dharma. That's what is meant, what he meant by non-Dharmas, and so forth. You see? Because I also, when I first read this 30 years ago, I also came from a frame of mind, I don't get it. I don't understand. Okay? And therefore, when you add more words to me, it causes more questions arose. Okay, so imagine, if you will, don't forget about this slide, all of it except for the first bullet. And the way I explained it to you, okay, I stress more on the side where you build up the three patience. This is the third patience, meaning the wisdom is associated with patience. That's a very Buddhist concept. If you have wisdom, then you're able to endure it. You cannot endure it, it's because you lack wisdom. Such a powerful concept, okay? So Buddhists know that, the Buddhist teachers know that, Buddhists know that. That's why he says, your wisdom, there are 8 wisdoms, okay? And they're associated with 8 patiences. First, you learn to be patient with suffering. That's why you have the first wisdom, called wisdom concerning suffering. And then you need to learn to be patient with accumulation, meaning that it draws in the suffering there, the one suffering that you choose to indulge in, okay? Actually, never mind to indulging. The one suffering you're experiencing right now, what you're not aware of is that you're actually multiplying. And you're not even aware of it. You eventually have to face that. All the various other ancillary sufferings that come with it. Because you choose to drink a beer. That's suffering. And with that drinking beer right there, you can choose to drink beer, or you can choose to endure the suffering from not drinking beer. Okay? You drink beer, there's a suffering. Not drinking beer has a suffering as well. Okay? But your practice, Buddhist practice, is you choose toward the suffering of enduring it. If I tell you, if you choose, I can't take this anymore, I need to please my family, so forth, okay? The suffering here, okay, will multiply in so many ways, not just for you, but your family as well, okay? Whereas if you say, okay, I know if I don't drink this beer with them, they will suffer, I will suffer. But you endure the suffering here, you put an end to it eventually. Whereas if you take a sip, it will multiply exponentially from all directions, called the suffering of accumulation. And how scary it is. And the Buddhist teachers fail to explain it to you. If you indulge in one thing right there, we Buddhists tell you that suffering, you think is pleasure, actually you look closely, actually suffering. And then He said, eventually our people realize, oh, that's right, the Buddha is so right. Yes, it's suffering after all. Okay? I got richer, I got more money. That's suffering because now I have more money that I need to worry about. The pleasure of getting rich actually is suffering. Okay? But accumulation means that with that, is many more types of suffering that will come your way, will accumulate. And it bothered me so much for many years. Why is it called accumulation? And no one could explain it to me. Explain it for me. I said, Buddha's teaching is so wise. It's so beautiful. It doesn't stop here that one suffering, okay? You only see, I'm suffering because I need to drink beer. Oh no, that's only one. But actually it's more that comes with it. That you're blissfully ignorant about. And the Buddha calls that suffering is called accumulation. It draws more suffering like magnets. Just because that one, because it fulfilled that one desire for you, it draws so many more suffering. It's beautiful. That's why we're overwhelmed. We indulge in one desire, and it comes a whole house, all the suffering. And one more desire, it comes a whole house. That's why we are all overwhelmed with life. Okay, 9. You see?
Master, I know what you're saying. I see the point. But is there another position where we can be moderate? So we are not an addict, but once in a while we have a beer.
Yes, that's a Buddhist teaching, absolutely.
Okay.
It's called moderation. There's no way for you to go from 10 to 0 right away. Okay? So moderation means that you only have to go from 10 to maybe 9. For some people, could be 7, and so forth. And then from 7, cut back, cut back, cut back, cut back. That's a natural progression in cultivation. Absolutely.
But Master, you are saying the idea is not to indulge in any desires eventually?
Eventually, you cut to 0. There's a method to go from 10 to 0. It's called moderation. Okay? Master YongHua, for example, teaches you cross your legs. If they break, they break. I don't teach that. I teach you cross your legs and it hurts so much. Okay? Endure for me 2 more minutes. That's moderation. It's crazy. You can't go from 10 to 0 just in one sit. Doesn't work. Yes, 5.
Thank you, Master. We have a YouTube question. Question from Robin's Nest. Robin's Nest asks, Emitofuo, Master, will you please explain why on this slide Dharma isn't capitalized, whereas it's capitalized elsewhere? Please explain.
This lady knows Buddhism. Yeah, probably a disciple of Master YongHua.
Please explain.
This guy's as a robin's nest.
Please explain when reading Sutra, what does the capitalization signify? I apologize if my question is overly analytical.
Dharma here, when it's capital D, in Buddhist convention, it's called Buddha Dharma, it's short of Buddha Dharma. So we call Dharma, meaning anything we teach you, it's called the Dharma. Buddhist principles, Buddhist teachings, Buddhist methodologies, all my teachings is called D, Dharma. That's why I'm here. I spent an hour and a half teaching you about the Dharma, okay? And the small d for Dharma is another jargon in Buddhism that refers to anything and everything in the world is a Dharma. Wood is a Dharma. Your anger is a Dharma. Anything is called a Dharma. Okay, so for example, in some here, the Dharma here refers to the Buddha Dharma, meaning whatever you're so proud of, that I am a professor of Buddhology. So you stuck to the Buddha Dharma knowledge you have. Okay, or I am practicing Weiyang Chan. That's also a Dharma, capital D. Okay, you're so proud of it. I am Weiyang Chan. Okay, and then you still have no wisdom yet. Okay, and so here I put here I change patient with dharmas of suffering. Here in slide 684, it was capital D until tonight when I was looking at the slides. Okay, these slides scare me, trust me. I learned my lesson. I prepare for them first. I look at them first. I cannot ad-lib because they're too dangerous. If I open my mouth, say it wrong right now, it'll be recorded in videos for a long time. We confuse a lot of people for a long time. So I looked at, and I saw tonight, this used to be a capital D. So I changed the Dharma to small d because patient with all kinds of suffering. Okay? Anything that makes you suffer, makes it difficult for you to endure, is called a Dharma of suffering. And you learn to endure it. You come to our temple, you follow us, you're learning to endure these types of sufferings that are thrown at you. Yes. 9.
Thank you, Master. Going back to Morali's question, I feel that blessings are always really important when going from 10 to 0.
Yeah, of course. There's a methodology behind it. Okay. You need to build it up. And when Master YongHua said you go from 10 to 0, is for the people who have super blessings. Sudden teaching. Okay? But for us, it has to be.
Maybe like almost 2 years ago, Master, I was always thinking that I wouldn't be able to leave meat. Mm-hmm. I love to eat meat. Mm-hmm. And just one day, I read the Erstore Bodhisattva Sutra. Ever since that day, I haven't tried meat anymore in my life.
It's amazing. Thank you for sharing with us. It's amazing what blessings do. Miracles happen. Okay? And this is why one of the Buddhist secret teachings is giving. Create blessings. And you experience miracles in your life. You don't have to ask for it. You don't have to pray to God. You don't have to beg for it. Miracles come your way because of your blessings. Hmm? It's so cool. Yes, 7.
I wanted to say that I took 4 precepts, and there was one I didn't take because I always, I really liked drinking a variety of different things. So, like, why should I? And I could avoid. I don't have to take that particular precept, right? And it's just kind of funny because after a while, it it didn't happen right away. I mean, because when you work and then you go out and then you socialize with people, or you go out to lunch and you have a business lunch, and people talk about what you drink, and then everyone's sharing stories, or what's the latest, whatever, microbrewery or whatever,
Yeah.
And I got into making liqueurs. I mean, I made all kinds.
Yeah.
So, but then I don't know. After a while, I just wasn't interested.
Yeah, just naturally.
It just happened. But I mean, it didn't happen like boom. I found other things that interested me, and I just wasn't so eager, But, at the time, I couldn't see it, and it didn't make any sense. And I'm glad I wasn't forced to do it, because I probably would mess up really bad, So, but, it takes time. It's no big rush. And there are other things to do, other things to work on, like sitting.
So you see, what you're hearing tonight is some people who are sharing with us, drunkards and carnivores. And miracles do happen. Yes, 9.
Master, one of my biggest fear is that I have been in my early years, I'm talking about during my college years, wanted to be more spiritual. So I kind of didn't pay attention to all the worldly things. And I think late in my 30s, I had this FOMO, fear of missing out on worldly life. So I'm really afraid, sometimes am I suppressing and not living my life? So later on, am I going to regret that I should have done all these things at that time? Now I am catching up to do. Or I somehow missed all that.
Yeah.
How do you see that?
Is that why you got divorced? Sorry.
That's a different story.
That's a different story? Okay, we don't have time for it tonight. Sorry. Okay. Yeah, and?
So I think right now that's why when I'm kind of entering back into spirituality, I'm always hesitant, don't want to go gung-ho, and then feeling missing out on something. So how do we do that? What's the right level of not indulging? And that's the thing that I constantly ask. What is the right level, or is it something I should leave?
Absolutely. I love the question, but I don't have an answer. Not in 3 minutes. Why are you always waiting until 3 minutes left to ask me? It's such a tough question, huh? My God. And that's why. Yes, go ahead, 7. She has an answer.
I don't have an answer, but I have a question for you. What do you want to indulge? I'm just curious. What do you want to do more? What are you missing?
We don't have enough time, honey. Where can he begin?
They say even money.
Yeah.
I didn't have any relationship with money until I got to 40. So I was money is a dirty thing. Don't even look at it. Don't even think about it.
Yeah.
So I didn't even save anything until I got to 40. Then I am wow, the whole world was awake from the 20s. Now I have a lot of catch up to do.
Yes.
So that's a kind of a thing you miss an entire aspect of life. And then one day you realize that, oh my God, maybe I shouldn't have done that. It's just somehow I took some of the spiritual teachings so deeply, but didn't really process it in the right way,
Yeah. Good thing is only money. It could be a lot worse. 20 years you miss out, just money? Oh, God. I wouldn't complain.
That's just an example, one of the examples. There's some more things like
Okay, let's not go into more examples. Like prawn videos. You missed out on the prawn videos earlier. Yeah, watch the video again. The first section is very, very educational for me. Okay, so what about This is why I feel that the way that the Chinese taught precepts is only for Chinese, not for people like us. For me, I didn't like it. I said, I have to kill myself to keep precepts. Now, who is going to keep precepts after I kill myself? The corporate line for Chinese precept is that I receive my precept, I swear to God that I will keep my precept at the cost of my life. I said, this doesn't sound right to me. It sounds too extreme, okay? And so I believe that, and I've been doing it for a long time, do this for a long time, because I believe what worked for me, okay, as a Western educated person, is that it's to my advantage. So all these teachings are basically like tips. Buy that stock, buy this stock, interest rate's gonna go down soon. So all those are just information, okay? And we choose to do it because we keep on doing it because it's beneficial. We have to benefit from it for us to keep on going. If the suffering is excessive, we stop. Yes? If there's no benefit, then why should we continue? Okay? But the luxury, the blessing we have is to be able to sit here and share among ourselves these incredible insights from the Buddhas and the Bodhisattvas. Okay? And for me to sit here and to claim to you I understand everything, I don't. I understand a little bit because I did a little bit more. I do a little bit more than you. That's all. That's the only difference. I'm still learning to endure more. And that's the beauty of the process. Okay? It's very gentle. And it's very logical. Okay? If you're willing to pass the test, it becomes so logical. And the foundation of that is blessings. It takes blessings to hear, it takes blessing to be able to do it. Okay? And because of blessings, you get to enjoy everything. Eventually. Naturally. Okay? And so this is why we're still here. Because they are experiencing more and more joy, more peace, more satisfaction, okay, out of life. Life becomes so much more meaningful, so much more joy. And not only for ourselves, we bring it to others around us. Yeah? Yeah? It's so cool. So for the Chinese style of teaching it, I feel it's too brutal. We'll have a problem with the young generation and people with the Western education in particular. It's illogical to us. We train to maximize our benefits. And so the Dharma needs to help you maximize your benefits for you to gain more benefits from the Dharma. You can't simply, drop everything and say, hey, now I'm a saint. It doesn't work like that. And that's why I feel the Chinese style of teaching is gonna have problems with our 21st centuries in the future. And it must be a change. And you see, there's a reason why Master YongHua had to bring this Chinese thing to the U.S., okay? And the first generation, my generation, okay, we have to be hybrids, where we have to see on both sides of the equation, on the Chinese side and on the Western side. And that's what we need to do. And your future generation have to do the same thing. It's all I'm doing right now is very limited, okay? But you need to bridge more gaps from your generation to the next generation. So the Dharma proliferates and is more useful to society. Okay? In my generation, in my prior generation, I'm not among those that my teachers and disciples, they believe blindly and they never objected to it. I objected to everything. All right, does it help? It's so cool. Look, all of you are so smart, so intelligent, so much more successful, and yet you're still here. You're still discovering things about yourself that are so fascinating. You're discovering how wonderful life is. And how much we can help others be happier. All right, we stop here tonight. Thank you all.